Child victimization and child abuse at Lee Correctional Institution, South Carolina. Orchestrated by an inmate with a contraband cell phone that was brought in by prison staff. Recently, the grand jury in South Carolina indicted 2 food service employees, a lieutenant, a female lieutenant, an inmate, and a street person. How do all of these people intertwine and to be involved with this child victimization? Well, I'm going to tell you how. Hi, this is Gary York, True Prison Stories. Please subscribe if you like this video. I don't like this video. I'm very upset with a lieutenant, food service employees, and a couple of other officers as well were indicted for bringing in drugs. What in the world is going on? But I'm really now upset because now you're causing children to be hurt and you're feeding the fire inside this inmate, this child molester, this inmate in prison who can't stand not being around a child. So he has to get a contraband cell phone to watch his girlfriend molest her own little daughter and send him the footage 5 times, 5 counts, folks. This is just crazy. And it makes me so mad that staff would bring these cell phones and bring these drugs into prison. I'm so glad that South Carolina caught these folks. This is one investigation called Investigation Clean Sweep that caught this ring that I'm talking about. Now, there's 2 other investigations with different names going on in South Carolina where they're also catching people at other prisons. So, I want to thank the state of South Carolina for their strong initiative to go in and clean up these dirt bags. And boy, let me tell you, this inmate has this smuggled cell phone. And his name, the inmate's name, let me look at my notes. Jacob Nathaniel Lance, right here, this dirt bag, gets a hold of his girl, okay? Her name is Abigail L. Dyer, if I said it right. This is this dirt bag. That's her right there. She does sexual acts on her daughter to satisfy the needs of this punk right here. And I really get mad when it comes to children and animals. If you've seen any of my videos on pedophiles and child molesters in prison and so forth, this is where we draw the line, folks. You know, we got all kinds of people in prison. Drugs, murders, rapes, they're all bad. They're all a crime. It just irks me, though, when children are involved. Okay, now let me look at my notes here and tell you what the inmate is facing. The inmate, for having this done so he could satisfy his needs of child sex, Jacob Nathaniel Lance, his bond was denied. Of course, he's in prison already, but his bond was denied. Criminal sexual conduct with a minor, 25 to life in prison. He's already been served papers, and for they're shooting to place him in prison for life. That's where he needs to be. He can't refrain from looking at children and having sex with children. So he has to get this dirtbag here to have the sex with the child so he can get off in prison. Oh, and who's at fault for getting that phone in there? Did I mention it before? Staff members. Stop it. Dirty staff members, they really tick me off. And now you're getting children involved in it. Well, let's talk about them now. They're caught. Now she, the one that was with her child, she is facing 25 to life also for a minor, sex with a minor. 5 counts because she sent him 5 different footages of her and her daughter. She's also for criminal sexual misconduct with a minor. I hope she gets life as well. I hope she gets life, and I hope that poor little girl can find a family member, or hope the state can find a family member that isn't a sicko, that can care and properly raise that little girl. You know she's going to be scarred for life. You just know the poor girl is not going to get that out of her head. Let's hope with counseling and guidance. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to go for the victim for counseling and guidance. I'm tired of people telling me these pedophiles and child molesters with counseling and guidance can be cured. I'm not seeing it, folks. I'm not seeing that. But let's work on the little girl. Let's get her some guidance, counseling, good family, good foundation, and pray that she can grow up and get this past her. Sick people. Let's talk about the other sick people, the staff members that were helping bring this stuff in. I think they're sick too. Sorry about that, but I think all honest officers will agree with me. I think all honest officers will agree with me that all these people that I'm talking about today need to go down the toilet and flush it twice. And put a little sewage treatment powder in top and flush it again to make sure they dissolve correctly. All right. Food service employee Brian Darrell Kelly coming out here in handcuffs with the lieutenant. The walk of shame. See him coming out in handcuffs? $10,000 bond for helping bring contraband in the prison, but also he was found. No, that's Officer Brittany, $10,000 bond. I'm sorry, $7,500 bond for the food service employee, but they found some sexually explicit child porn on some of his stuff. He's facing 10 years for having the child porn. No proof that he's involved in it, but he's looking at it. Let's put him away for 10 years. Thank you for the investigation, South Carolina. Officer Brittany Nicole. Actually, it's Lieutenant Brittany Nicole Welch coming out in this picture. Look at her turn her head in shame now. She's got a $10,000 bond, misconduct in office, and obstruction of justice. She was aiding and allowing a path for the contraband cell phones to get into the prison to these inmates who use them for sexual victimization of children. How do you feel now, Lieutenant? You feel proud of yourself? Hope you made a little money, had a good night out. I hope you end up in prison for a while. 10 years for misconduct in office, 10 years possible for obstruction of justice. Don't let her plead a probation. Please, not in this type case when we got children being victimized because of something she allowed to go on. Don't. Please, every one of these people need to go to prison. A couple of other officers brought in cocaine and marijuana. 200 grams of methamphetamine was also recovered. And marijuana and cocaine, okay? 600 grams of meth, 200 grams of cocaine. I'm a little upset today. I guess you could tell. I get excited when dirty, rotten scumbags form a little ring like this and then jeopardize children's mental health, physical well-being, and their lives. What kind of sick mother is this? Sick inmate. And then these staff members helping them do these kind of things. They taint the image of the honest officers, and then people wonder why people see an officer getting gas at the gas station and look at him and say, oh, you work at Lee Correctional Institution. You're one of them, huh? We've had that happen here in Florida. Oh, you work at Charlotte Correctional Institution. You're one of them. It's not the majority. It's the minority of these dirtbags like this lieutenant and these 2 food service people. And those 2 officers bringing in the drugs that taint the image of all the other officers. What percentage is it? Well, I don't know how many employees they have working at Lee correctional institution. But we said 2 officers were bringing in drugs, and the lieutenant, she was allowing the cell phones to come in. That's 3, I don't know, 3-4%. I don't know. You know, I don't know if the investigation's still ongoing or not. Don't know how many employees they have. Maybe it's 1 or 2%. But what I'm trying to get the point across is this 97, 98% over here are honest, hard-working officers. These dirtbags make us look bad. Put them in jail, then sentence them to prison, every one of them. Thank you for watching, everybody. Gary York, True Prison Stories. Please subscribe.